Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D Real coming at you with another Be Real with D Real, where edutainment is what I do. What did I tell y'all last week? What I tell y'all last week? I told didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all? All right, well, congratulations, first and foremost, to the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. Yeah, and yes, I am going to ride this mug all week long. Going to savor it. Now, not to the point where I'm irritating, but just, I'm gonna get my little digs in here and there already. Shouts out to number 15, Patrick Mahomes, MVP of Super Bowl 57. Yeah, we did that. We always play from behind, but this is a video for another time, not what I came to bring y'all today. Today, I came to bring you The Last of Us recap of episode 5. And it was an absolute tearjerker. Oh my goodness. But we're going to get off into that in a second. But before we do, I need y'all to do what you always do for me. Bam! Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page so that when new material comes out, you get it. If you're digging what a brother's shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the page. All right. Episode 5 of The Last of Us. We're introduced to a lot of new people and a lot of new things. If you watched the episode last week, you know that Joel and Elie were cruising through a QZ known as Kansas City. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Anywho, though, we kind of backtrack through the episode, get that kind of Quentin Tarantino out of sequence type thing going on where we're focusing on the two new characters who have come into the episode at the end of the last episode is Henry and his little brother Sam, played by Lamar Johnson and Kevon Woodard. When we meet Henry and Sam in this episode, they are trying to get out of this QZ because Henry has betrayed the resistance. Over the course of this, we find out Kathleen, that's the evil lady who runs the QZ, things happen. Bottom line, Kathleen wants Henry in the worst way. And she does not want to talk to him. And she's got all the forces at her disposal out searching for Henry and Sam. Well, actually searching for Henry. She wants to get back at Henry for what he was doing, what he did. She knows he's a collaborator / traitor. So she gonna off him. So we run into Henry and Sam when they've been holed up in this little area for about 10, 11 days, had food. They ran out of food, so they had to leave. As they're coming out of their hiding place, they run into the folks ambushing Joel and Elie from last week's episode. My man Henry, he sees how Joel handles a gun, and he thinks to himself, maybe these guys are the ones to get us out of this QZ safely, because after all the killing they did, Kathleen and her forces are going to be looking for them too. So we move forward. Joel and Elie have found a place to stay, and they sprinkle glass everywhere in hopes that will alert them if someone or something creeps up on them. That ain't the case. Henry and Sam are able to get into the building, ease up on Joel and Elie, and get them both at gunpoint with empty guns. Turns out Henry ain't the violent individual that he seems to be, or that they're making him out to be. He's just somebody that wants to take care of his little brother who is deaf, and they do a lot of signing. I noticed a lot of, ASL, things going on. I don't really do ASL, but I know people who do ASL in the field I work in. I work with people that potentially are deaf, and so it's legit. It ain't nobody just throwing up, any old sign. They actually, took some time to actually study ASL, and yeah, it's legit. But anyway, Henry and Sam and Joel and Elie team up to get out. And Henry has this idea where they can go through the maintenance tunnels underneath Kansas City and get out, because Kathleen supposedly forced all the infected down into these maintenance tunnels because they didn't want them out walking around on the surface. And supposedly all the infected got cleared out, according to Henry. But later on, we find out that they are moving underground, tunneling, burrowing, moving, trying to find a way back up to the surface. But our motley crew of 4 make their way through these tunnels, and all the while, Elie and Sam are bonding, playing games, playing toys, and ironically, comic books. They both read a specific comic book, and they go into nerd details. Well, I got issues 5, 6, 8, and 12, and he's like, I got issues 7, 6, and 9, and you know what I'm saying? Just the kind of talk you have as a nerd when you're talking about comic books. So again, legitimate comic book conversation. I appreciated that. There was a lot of genuine stuff going on in this episode, and I think that's what made it that much more emotional, because the bonding between Elie and Sam seems very genuine, and the bonding between Joel and Henry, while not as whimsical of bonding as it is with Sam and Elie, they nonetheless find sort of a happy medium, so to speak. Joel isn't a ray of sunshine to begin with, and we know Henry's suspicious of everybody, but he needs that help, that expertise, them skills that Joel has. And so they managed to make it over to the west side. I noticed that because I used to live in Kansas City. And they make it over to the west side. And from there, all it is a hop, skip, and a jump across the river, and they're out of there. Okay. Anywho, they start getting shot at. And Kathleen and her people have already set up a perimeter around the QZ. So anybody coming in, coming out is going to get noticed. Joel and them get noticed. And so somebody's in an enlightened position capping at them. And Joel manages to get out of the line of fire, find who's shooting at him. And it's an old man with a rifle. And he tells him, put your rifle down, wait here an hour, and that's it. I do not want to have to kill you. Old man, dedicated to Kathleen's cause. He's already drew down on him. Why is he going to try to spin around to turn and face Joel, thinking he might have a chance? Anyway, the scene moves to Sam and Henry and Elie out on the street, and we hear a pop over there in the house. Joel shoots the guy, and Joel finds a walkie-talkie and sees, oh, this dude ain't just some crazy guy shooting. He's actually resistance. And out of nowhere, Kathleen and her forces come rolling up. And what tripped me out is how long Elie, Sam, and Henry wait before they start running. I mean, it's practically like they're right there. And you know, Joel screaming, run, run, run. And they ain't running, but they wait until this truck's like almost right up on them. Then they decide, oh, might be a good idea to run. And then and for a hot second, Henry and Sam were going to take off, but you know, shots are firing everywhere. He like, ooh, ah, ooh. And I'm like, okay, that was a really African-American response to gunfire. I'm just going to run. I don't know what direction, but I'm going to run in the opposite direction of the gunfire. Anywho, Kathleen and her forces bear down on the area, and they're all over the place. Got everybody surrounded. They're going to the house to get Joel. Henry decides to come out and give himself up so that Sam and Elie can escape. And at the moment that Kathleen pulls her gun out, cocks it, and points it at Henry, that is the moment that the infected decide to come up out of the tunnels. And boy, do they ever come out of the tunnels. Full force. Hundreds of them just pour out onto the landscape, and there ain't even enough bullets to suppress these folks to drive them back. But the infected are all over everybody, and the scene is pandemonium, and infected is attacking this person, infected is attacking that person. Now Perry, y'all remember Perry, Kathleen's bearded sidekick? He decides to tell Kathleen to run while he shoots at this, what we finally get to see, what we know as a bloater. That bloater comes up out of the tunnel. Perry fires a few shots at him. He rolls up on Perry, grabs him, and literally pops his head off. Now, Ellie's running, and she gets separated from Henry and Sam, and she jumps into a truck. Now, the whole while, Joel is in that enlightened position, and while Ellie's moving about, and anytime an infected comes, pow, he's popping him. So basically, he's like, here I make a football reference. He is literally like Ellie's offensive line, and Elie is a running back, and he's clearing a path, pow, wherever she wants to run, shoot that infected, pow, shoot that infected. And it's almost like they got a kind of a symbiotic relationship, because I'm like, it's nighttime and it's dark, but yet and still he's able to, you know, get beads on you know, television. But anyway, this bloater is just wrecking havoc, and so are all the infected. And Elie manages to jump into a vehicle, but then this little baby bloater jumps in there, our little clicker jumps in there, and she jumps out of the car, leaves the clicker in the car, and she's running to Joel. And when she runs over to Joel, she sees Sam and Henry under a car, you know, kicking infected, get away from me. And she goes and helps them with her knife. And they're all running together, and they all manage to get away. They're at a hotel later on, and they're chilling out. And that's the moment when Joel decides maybe Henry and Sam ain't so bad after all. Maybe we can let them come along with us to Wyoming. Now, they're in another room. Elie and Sam are in another room reading a comic book. And now, when Sam just really wants to talk to somebody, he's got one of those little pads he carries, you know, like you can write on it and it has words on it, and then you raise it up and it disappears, so you can keep writing on it over and over and over. So yeah, he has one of those. And he's asking Elie, does she ever get scared? And Elie tells him, I'm scared all the time. And so he then says to her, when you're a monster, is it still you inside? Where's that coming from? Sam, little Sam, who's 8 years old, 8-year-old Sam. 8-year-old Sam rolls up his pant leg to show us that he's been bitten and he's infected. That is the point where Elie decides to do what Marlene told her not to do in episode 1 and reveal that her blood is the cure for the infection. Now, as everybody knows, it's going to take more than just you cutting your hand and rubbing your straight up blood in the infection to actually cure somebody. It's going to take a little more than just you rubbing your blood on somebody. But I mean, she's 14 years old, so she doesn't 100% understand that her efforts are futile. And so after she rubs the blood in, and he asks her, will she stay awake with him? And she says she promises that she'll stay awake with him. And they have a tender moment where she embraces him and hugs him and comforts him. And that's that bond that just long enough for them to bond and be like, we're buds. I got you. Okay? Make it through the night. Elie has fallen asleep. When Elie wakes up, she notices Sam is sitting on the edge of the bed. He's awake. So she gets up, goes over to Sam, taps him, and as soon as he turns around, you see he's infected. And he jumps on her. Next thing you know, we see Elie running out of the room and Sam right behind her. He tackles her and she's fighting him off. And then at this moment, that's when Henry and Joel see, oh no, Sam's infected. Joel reaches for the gun, but Henry gets it first. And Joel tries to go and help, and Henry fires a shot at his feet to back him off so that he can't go and help. And eventually, one smooth motion, pow, Henry shoots his little brother Sam in the head and kills him because he has to. But at that point, Henry is just flabbergasted and in shock at what has happened. And the entire time, Joel is trying to get Henry, give me the gun, give me the gun. Finally, as Henry sits there and he's just like, what have I done? What have I done? He takes the gun, puts it to his head, and kills himself. That episode was rough, y'all. I ain't no sense of me lying. I'm like, wow. Now, and I wasn't even on the only 2 black people on the show, and y'all got to kill them off. Well, Marlene is black, but we haven't seen Marlene since episode 1. But I mean, it always comes back to that thing that I'm always looking at with sci-fi and things of this nature. How come there don't be no black people around? They don't expect us to be around in the future? Like Richard Pryor said, they ain't planning for us to be around. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It wasn't so much a black thing as it was just, little brother, brothers. Why did that have to end so tragically? That's where it is, y'all. That's where it is. And they give Henry and Sam a proper burial and head west. That's episode 5. Probably going to be a lot more of that before the season's over. Are y'all watching The Last of Us? If you're not, you should be. It's a really good show. Emotion, action, pathos, ethos, All that. It's in there. Need to check it out. It's a good show. Or, you can do like I do sometimes, wait until all 10 episodes run and binge that sucker. That's probably the best way to do it. But that's it for now. But worry not. I will be coming at you with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good. Be good to each other. Chiefs Kingdom!